Hey friends, it's Catherine here. We are at the SBT GRVL Expo, and I am so excited to have with me Mirna Valerio. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Thank you for pronouncing my name right.
I'm so excited to have you here with us. This is your first GRVL event, is that correct?
This is my first ever cycling event. I am really nervous and anxious and like all of those words, but I'm really excited. It's been, everyone's been super friendly and kind and wonderful, so like that was surprising to me because I had heard other things about the cycling industry and the cycling community, but this has been fantastic.
Yeah, maybe don't go to a pro road race.
You will not see me there because I'm not a pro.
And you came from, for people that don't know, you're from an ultra running background, correct?
Yes. In fact, I actually just came from a 6-day ultra running event that I did not run. I announced. So I had the mic.
Control of this interview.
And would you like me to ask you some questions?
Give me the microphone back.
But yeah, that is my background. I'm actually currently injured, which is why I was announcing. But you know, like being on a bike has actually saved me from spiraling into depression from not being able to run. So I'm really excited to participate in something like this and to get the energy, like to gain a whole new community, which is exactly what has happened. I have this new like group of family and friends that I can go ride with. I went on my first group ride today,
That was a big group ride. It was like 500 people.
Holy crap! There were so many people. I was very overwhelmed, and I don't get overwhelmed. I don't get nervous and stuff unless it's thundering. But that's a whole other thing. Read that in my book, chapter 7. But I was like overwhelmed, but it was also like overwhelming in a really good way because there were so many people and everyone's like so excited to go out on a ride because, you know, a lot of us haven't been able to do these things for a long time, for many months, and so here we are all like outside together doing this thing, you know, where we're moving our bodies. We get to be out in nature, and it's just so fantastic.
Yeah, that's so fun. I saw you out on the group ride. You looked like you were having a good time.
I was having a good time, you know, even on the hills.
There were some big hills.
I didn't know that riding in a group actually makes the hills easier.
Yeah, that whole drafting thing. You don't get that running, really.
No, we don't. What is drafting? We don't even have that in running. So, I mean, I might be sticking over here.
Are you hoping to go back to running and then keep cycling in, or are you falling in love with cycling?
You know, I told you earlier that this is a vortex, and it kind of sucks you in, and I've kind of been reluctant to adopt a new identity. But I think you can have both things. You know, I definitely will go back to running after all of my injuries heal. But I am not leaving this because it's been so good to my body, so good for my body, and so good for my spirit as well.
So we've had a lot of conversations in the last 2 years about inclusion and inclusion in sports. And you've been doing this work for quite a long time, like kind of before it was the popular conversation. What do you see happening, and are you feeling hopeful for what's happening?
Look, yesterday I walked into the taco place here, and I didn't even know that the Ride for Racial Justice had happened because I had been on the DL just trying to get some sleep. And so I walk into the taco place, and there are all these people of color, and I'm like, whoa! I was so excited! And everybody had just come from their ride, and they were like in such high spirits, and I was like, this is what needs to happen all the time, you know, for like a bike organization or a race organization to reach out to people and like, hey, we would love to have you at our event, you know, with no expectations, but the only expectation is to, you know, to participate and have a good time. Because when you, like me as a person of color, as a black woman, when I see somebody out there doing something that I want to do or something that I thought was not even in my purview, then I become curious about it. And then it becomes a reality for me. So I know that like in ultra running, you know, me showing up at a race, that brings other people in. Oh, it must be safe for us. It must be a good time. So let me go try that because Mirna was there. And so that's exactly what I saw with like this whole group of cyclists yesterday. I was like, oh, okay, I'm fine. This is, you know, I belong here. We still have a long way to go, and like everything in the outdoor and the cycling and the running, all of the industries, right? We have a long way to go, but the work is being done. It'll take a while to get where we need to be. But I'm excited that people are taking this work seriously.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see like the way race directors are kind of stepping up and really thinking about what can I do, and also how can I partner. Like, it doesn't have to be me. I can partner with groups that are already doing this and say, how can we support you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a two-way street, right? Not one person or one organization can do all the work, right? Everybody's got to be working in consortium with other people and other organizations. So, and that's how we'll get it done.
On a totally different note, what was it like to see yourself on the billboard and Lululemon in Times Square?
So it wasn't Times Square. It was Toronto's Times Square, whatever.
That's a big deal.
That was, speaking of Lululemon. It was, wow. I'm still feeling like it was a surreal thing. I don't know if it's still up there, but, again, like something like having a person like me, like I am plus size, I am black, and, it's shouldn't be outside of the norm because there are lots of people that look like me, that have the same sort of body type, that have maybe the same sort of like lived experiences that I do. And it shouldn't be, an anomaly, but it still is. But it was really cool to see myself up there. My family went nuts. I was on the big storefront on Fifth Avenue in New York City because I'm from New York City. And my family did a whole field trip to go see it, and it was they called it an expensive road trip, an expensive field trip. But they were super proud of me, and it's like the fact that I get to partner with companies like Lululemon and Machines for Freedom and Salsa and there's so many awesome things that are going on in my life. I got to come out here and train for 6 weeks. Who does that?
You're ready. You're the one person ready for the altitude.
I still can't breathe, so. But we'll see tomorrow. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. But I'm so excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I love seeing Lululemon because they got in some trouble a few years back, and that they've taken that and said, okay, we're gonna not just put some messages out, but do the work and really change, create a new line of clothing basically that fits every woman's body. So.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is still at the fitting everyone and everybody, but there are definitely being steps taken towards that, so to that end. But it's really phenomenal to see all these companies saying, we have ignored, because that's exactly what it was, we have ignored a whole part of our population, this whole demographic. And it's time for us to not do that. It's time for us to be more inclusive. Is everyone 100% inclusive? No. Again, but the work is being done, and there are clear steps being taken towards that. And I get to be part of that. And that's seriously so super cool for me.
Well, you have a fantastic voice to be a part of that. There's some teenage boys that are about to walk right in front of our camera. Thanks.
That's all right.
Okay, well, we have